Atlanta News First Plus starts now.
And thank you for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus as we follow breaking news. This is our traffic camera showing you I-20, where you can see very clearly on your screen all eastbound lanes have been blocked off due to a crash that we're following. This is in Douglas County. Now, we are closely monitoring and checking in with the Georgia Department of Transportation, but what you're looking at through the fogginess of this traffic camera is our best vantage point that we can show you here as we wait for more visual opportunities. Our first alert chopper en route to the scene. Of course, the crash happening along this interstate just before State Route 6 on Thornton Road in the Lithia Springs area. That happened about an hour ago, around 1:23 earlier this afternoon. The Georgia Department of Transportation on scene responding, and it's unclear right now if there are any injuries and really what the involvement looks like. You can kind of see through the fog and really the blurriness of this camera how many vehicles are really on this roadway here. All eastbound lanes are currently blocked off. Just past this traffic camera is a line of cars waiting to make it through. So we want to jump on here with you live, showing you really what is going on and give you the best visual that we can as we follow this story so that you can make plans, let your friends know who pass by this area to seek alternate routes. This is, again, I-20 eastbound. All lanes are currently shut down in the Lithia Springs area of Douglas County. This is State Route 6 at Thornton Road, where you can see there appears to be some sort of traffic incident, a crash that has prompted all lanes to shut down as emergency crews in the Georgia Department of Transportation respond. The scene is expected to be somewhat of a mess for quite some time, so this isn't a roadway that you want to get stuck in. The growing the clear time keeps growing here for us as we're following it closely. We had initial reports showing that it was clearing somewhere around 5 p.m. and that looks like it's actually getting better. Actually, I'm checking right now. So we have an anticipated end time approaching, but with these types of situations, especially if there's an investigation that needs to take place, there is really no concrete time we can tell you on when this roadway is expected to clear out. So we're going to follow this closely with you here on Atlanta News First and let you know when this roadway eases up so that you can go about your plans on this Monday. But for those of you that are just joining us here, whether you're watching us on Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, maybe you're joining the conversation on YouTube Live, we are following a serious crash that has closed all lanes of I-20 eastbound lanes specifically. So you can see on the opposite side traffic moving normally. On the westbound side of things, it's eastbound that we are closely monitoring. This is in the Douglas County area, more specifically Lithia Springs, that has been really an ongoing situation for the past hour. And I just stepped away just to talk to our producer here. We do believe we have another shot for you, so bear with me, guys, as I pull that up for you, and we can get you a clearer picture really of what's going on. I'm going to bring that blurry picture back while I work on that, and we'll get you really hopefully a different angle of what's going on. You can see the magnitude of this crash and the situation as it's unfolding live. All right, folks, thanks for waiting with me here. As you can see, this is showing you from the westbound side of things what eastbound looks like right now. I-20 in the Lithia Springs area of Douglas County. You can see fully blocked off. Taking a closer look here, that appears to be some sort of large vehicle and a gray smaller car. I want to say there's I'm look just by looking here again, confirmation still being worked on here in the newsroom, and of course with our reporters who are responding and going to the scene with us. But you can see a larger vehicle and then a smaller, a grayer, almost sedan, I want to say, that has visibly been damaged. We are still working to see how many vehicles exactly are impacted by this, but it is clear that this has taken over all eastbound lanes of I-20 right before Thornton Road in the Lithia Springs area. So again, we're monitoring a couple things here. The estimated clear time, which remains fluid, right now growing by the minute. We did hear from the Georgia Department of Transportation, saw it posted actually, that clear time could be 5 o'clock, it could be sooner, so that remains to be determined, but my best guess for you right now is that this is still very much ongoing. It's going to take some time to clear this debris off the roadway, to clear those vehicles, let alone to conduct an investigation into this crash. So for those vehicles that are just behind where the roadway has been closed off, they're waiting patiently and kind of trying to see when they can start making any headway down this road. Right now, all eastbound lanes do remain closed off. This situation ongoing since about 1:23, so we're exceeding the hour of when this crash took place, according to the Georgia Department of Transportation, and of course, a very fluid, clear time. You can see emergency vehicles, police vehicles, the fire department, from what I can see, also assisting with this. And of course, Georgia Department of Transportation officials and emergency crews on scene as well. So we do have emergency already there present, assisting and conducting their investigation is what I assume, and also working with us and letting us know when we can expect some movement so that we can relay that to you all. And staying right here on Atlanta News First Plus with you all as we take a live look right now at I-20. All eastbound lanes shut down just past Mount Vernon Road. This is in the Lithia Springs area. This crash taking place at around 1:30, just before 1:30 earlier this afternoon, and it has been a mess for the motorists on the road, for the emergency crews trying to clear this debris, and we still have a lot of questions unanswered, including what vehicles are involved right now. You can see right there along the guardrail there is what appears to be a gray compact SUV type vehicle that appears to have crashed into the guardrail or is pointed in that direction with extensive damage at the front of the vehicle. And you can see a much larger vehicle also on the side, and it is unclear how many other cars are involved. We're working to learn and piece together that information for you. Our Atlanta News first alert chopper on the scene, or headed to this scene, so we should get you an aerial perspective and really show you the extent of what traffic looks like just beyond what this traffic camera can show you right now. But this is pointing from the west, showing you really the situation on the eastbound lanes. As you can see, westbound traffic not really impacted, cars moving as they normally would. It's eastbound that is where we are keeping a close eye, and you can see a number of police vehicles on scene, more arriving to assist, and there does appear to be at least one car pulled over on the west side that might have some involvement, but we do not have that confirmed. We do see some police vehicles and emergency vehicles surrounding that car as well, as they pull up to what we can assume is assist with clearing these lanes so that traffic can continue on. This crash, again, happening just before 1:30 this afternoon along I-20, shutting down all eastbound lanes in Douglas County. And right now, emergency crews are doing a few things here. They are assisting with clearing efforts, getting these cars off the roadways, getting the debris safely off the roadways, and of course conducting an investigation into a crash. And so the clear time that we're also monitoring keeps changing. We had it clearing at 5 p.m. at one point, then 2 p.m., and of course that continues to change based off how this investigation is going, how quickly they can clear this area and safely let these cars pass through. So we're going to continue to monitor that clear time for those of you who either need to pass through this area or are probably watching this and are stuck waiting for these lanes to open. We will let you know as soon as we have any information. Atlanta News first alert chopper, and now over the scene. Let me see if I can route that shot for you all so we can take a look at that together, and that'll give us really an idea of what the situation is along I-20 on that eastbound side. There we go. I got it, guys. We have a recent system upgrade, so I'm a little slower than I normally am at finding where my buttons are. This is First Alert Chopper over the scene of I-20, showing you really the extent of the damage in those eastbound lanes and really just looking at the debris and kind of the way that that vehicle traveled. You can see that this was a very serious crash. We have damage to the guardrail. We have multiple vehicles that appear to have damage, and this much larger truck that appears to have almost skid across all of those lanes. It's anyone's guess on really what led up to this, but multiple vehicles are involved. We have a smaller red car, that gray SUV that I was talking about, and the truck with the skid that skidded across the guardrail to the opposite side of those eastbound lanes, and we do see that there is another vehicle with some damage on the westbound side of things. So multiple vehicles involved, no clear understanding of the extent of the driver's injuries or who those drivers are. We're working to learn that information. The Georgia Department of Transportation trying to get that information to us as quickly as they can while also conducting this investigation. So bear with us as we experience some technical glitches here, but First Alert Chopper showing you really the situation. You can imagine how this crash played out just by looking at the direction of where that truck went and how severe the damage is to those two vehicles, the red car as well as the gray SUV. And of course, not forgetting the white car on the opposite side of this guardrail, just beyond what Chopper is able to show you right now. Of course, this is going to take quite some time to clear before allowing those other vehicles through, and we are trying to get as much information on the condition of the drivers involved and really looking at the damage to those vehicles. It is concerning to imagine what types of injuries we could be dealing with. Hopefully everybody is okay. But again, we are going to get that information and relay that to you right here on Atlanta News First Plus. This is I-20 eastbound in Douglas County in the Lithia Springs area, just beyond Thornton Road at Mount Vernon Road. Again, if you have plans to commute through this area, if you're not already stuck in this, do find some alternate routes. I'm going to try to see if I can pull up a map for you all so you can see really the direction and the proximity of where this is. But we are keeping up to date on what that expected clear time could be, and that time keeps growing, of course, and so we can only tell you what we know from the Georgia Department of Transportation, and they can only tell you what they know based off how this investigation is progressing. Westbound lanes, you're fine. There's no impact. There is one vehicle on that west side, but it appears to be in the shoulder of those lanes, so there's no impact to the cars that are passing through. But eastbound is really where our focus is right now. All lanes remaining closed in Douglas County as Georgia Department of Transportation and responding law enforcement assist with this investigation. You see there's also a vehicle that appears to be turned over, so we might have up to 4 vehicles involved in this crash. It's completely flipped onto its backside. That was not in the shot for the longest time, so let's talk about that for a moment. So we have 4 vehicles and a truck of some sort that appears to have significant damage, likely all involved in the same crash. We are still working to piece together what exactly led up to this crash and the conditions and identities of these drivers. As soon as we have that information, you will know in our Atlanta News First breaking news app, as well as right here on Atlanta News First Plus. But this is I-20. The situation really looking quite concerning just by seeing what you're seeing on First Alert Chopper, and then I can bring back that traffic camera that gives you more of a ground perspective, but is blocked off largely by the law enforcement presence that is on this roadway. So let's go back to Chopper. You can see the direction that truck went across the lanes appears to have hit the guardrail before it swerved left, and then those vehicles as well, just the severity of the damage, the front and the sides just completely destroyed. And we are still working to learn whether there's been any injuries and who exactly was involved in this. as well as for the motorists out there, for those of you that travel in this direction, what that clear time is going to be. Bear with me as I kind of step out, check in with the Georgia Department of Transportation, check in with our teams and our crews that are headed to this scene, and continue to bring you, of course, this aerial perspective from our first alert chopper. This is breaking news we're following here at Atlanta News First. With you now live on Atlanta News First Plus. This is the scene of I-20 in Douglas County, where you can see a serious crash took place just over an hour ago, about 1:23 this afternoon. The Georgia Department of Transportation responding now alongside local authorities, law enforcement. We saw the fire department is also on scene, responding to multiple vehicles involved in this crash that has shut down all lanes, all eastbound lanes of I-20 in Douglas County, specifically the Lithia Springs area. This is the I-20 eastbound lanes along Thornton Road and Mount Vernon Road, and First Alert Chopper taking you as close as we can safely get to this scene. And you can see upwards of 4 vehicles and a truck that appears to have been involved in a crash. That truck appearing to have hit the guardrail, then went all the way across those lanes eastward, or I should say to the left, leaving behind that trail that you see on the roadway, and just an extensive amount of debris, an extensive amount of damage to those vehicles, both to the front and the sides. One of those vehicles is a darker blue vehicle in the grass area, is completely flipped over. So we are still working tirelessly to learn about the conditions of the drivers, who was involved, and of course what led up to this crash. I do also see Georgia State Patrol is on scene assisting with the roadways, keeping this area clear as an investigation continues along these eastbound lanes. Again, I-20 eastbound in Douglas County along Thornton Road. This is an area you're going to want to avoid. We are monitoring the clear time, the anticipated clear time from GDOT, but it is a fluid situation, and really we are at the mercy of how quickly they can get these vehicles safely off of the roadway, clearing that debris, and of course allowing traffic to once again pass through. We're continuing to follow a major accident along I-20 eastbound in Douglas County. As you can see, investigative efforts, debris clearing efforts visibly underway here along this roadway or this interstate where multiple vehicles appear to be involved in a serious crash. We can confirm to you that there have been multiple injuries. However, we cannot really tell you the extent of the injuries. That is what we're currently trying to figure out. But you can see a number of emergency responders on the scene assisting. We have Georgia Department of Transportation, Georgia State Patrol. We also saw local Douglas County Police and the fire department also on scene, helping out, trying to get this investigation moving along, getting these cars safely out of the way, and of course clearing that debris so traffic can begin again. Westbound lanes are open, not seeing a whole lot of impact. We do see a vehicle that might have been involved in this crash, has some damage to it. It's a white vehicle on the westbound, but it is in the shoulder lane, so it is not actively impacting traffic. Eastbound is a whole different situation. We have a complete shutdown of all eastbound lanes in this area. This, of course, is just past Thornton Road at Mount Vernon Road. I-20 eastbound remaining closed off for an undetermined amount of time. We are following closely Georgia Department of Transportation updates on that clear time, but it is fluid, and that is largely going to depend on how quickly this investigation can conclude, and of course how quickly they can clear these cars and the debris off of the roadway and safely reopen to passing traffic. Here's what I want to note as we wait for that information to get confirmed. You can see multiple vehicles, extensive damage to the front and the sides. There's one darker blue vehicle that is not in this shot that you can see from our first alert chopper, but it is completely flipped over in the grass. And we can imagine its involvement in this crash as one of the vehicles. We are, again, monitoring for any updates, any details on who these drivers are and the extent of their injuries. What we do know right now is that there are several emergency crews assisting on I-20 eastbound at Lee Road, again, working to clear this scene and move traffic through. No clear time on when that's going to happen. All lanes are currently closed. So if you can pursue some alternate routes, if you know you need to get through this area, just start thinking ahead. Let anybody in your life that goes past this interstate, goes along this roadway, know that they don't want to get stuck in it. And of course, we are going to continue to monitor this scene. Really concerning just to look at. You can imagine being one of these drivers, how serious of a situation we are talking about here, and then understanding that there are injuries and not knowing really the extent of those injuries. So taking this time to think of those who are involved and really just hope that they are okay. We are still following, again, information from local law enforcement, from GDOT, and all of the units that are responding, any of the investigators, for details into who these drivers are and what their injuries might entail. Continuing to follow this serious crash along I-20 eastbound in Douglas County, multiple vehicles involved. We can confirm from Douglas County that there are injuries involved in this crash, and no clear time on when you can expect traffic to open up and move through, but just showing you first alert chopper here on your screen as we continue to follow this situation and keep you updated on every detail that we are learning. This is I-20 eastbound along Thornton Road in the Lithia Springs area. Again, this crash happening just before 1:30 this afternoon has been an ongoing investigation since we've seen a number of law enforcement presence and emergency response from Georgia Department of Transportation, from Georgia State Patrol, and a local Douglas County government. Of course, we are continuing to monitor any updates, any new information on the conditions of these drivers just by looking at the extent of the damage to their vehicles, trying to piece together who these drivers are so we can get that information out to you as well. We are going to continue to stay on top of this with Atlanta News First News at 3. Follow along and download the Atlanta News First app for breaking news and updates on this story and everything else we're following around Metro Atlanta.
Thank you for watching ANF Plus. For more breaking news, live coverage, and your community stories, download the Atlanta News First app. You can also watch us on YouTube, Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. To join the conversation on YouTube Live, visit our channel and hit subscribe. You can also listen to the Atlanta News First podcast by searching Atlanta News First on your preferred listening platform.